the garden and magical door. Zane and Noor playing in their grandfather's lush green garden under the sunlight. It was an ordinary day, until something magical appeared. Zane notices an old tree with a glowing line on its trunk. "Look, Noor. What's that glowing on the tree?" Noor curiously touches the glowing line on the tree. A magical door opens in the tree with blue and gold light. Zane and Noor step into the glowing portal bravely. Without fear, they stepped into the unknown. Arrival in the fairy kingdom. The children arrive in a glowing, colorful fairyland with floating fairies. They entered a world beyond imagination, the fairy kingdom. Fairies fly around, leaving sparkles, as Noor smiles in wonder. Fairies danced in the air, lighting up the skies. Talking flowers and rainbow-colored trees all around. Even the flowers talked and the trees shimmered like rainbows. A smiling flower speaks to Zane and Noor. "Welcome, travelers. You are not here by mistake." A glowing castle far in the distance on a floating island. In the distance stood the royal castle, but something was wrong. Meeting Fairy Layla with sparkling wings flying toward the kids. "I am Layla, guardian of the fairy kingdom." Layla explains that the fairy king is turned to stone. "Our king has been turned to stone by an evil sorcerer." Zane and Noor looking shocked but ready to help. "We will help you, we promise." Layla giving them a glowing magical compass. "This compass will guide you through the magical trials." The children begin their journey into the deep enchanted forest. And so, their magical quest began. The spinning maze, a giant spinning maze with glowing walls and shifting paths. Their first challenge, a maze that changed with every step. Zane holding the magical compass, pointing the way. "Follow the compass, Zane, it knows the truth." One wrong step, and they could be trapped forever. Noor carefully avoiding a moving wall in the maze. Zane and Noor finally find the glowing exit. At last, they made it through, together. Fairy Layla reappears and praises their courage. "You have passed the first trial, with heart." The laughing mountain, a huge mountain with a face that laughs loudly. "To go further, you must answer my riddles." Zane and Noor listening nervously as the mountain speaks. "What has no mouth but speaks, no legs but travels?" Noor whispering an answer to Zane. "I think it's an echo." The mountain smiling and creating a glowing path forward. "Correct. You may pass, brave ones." The children walk confidently through the glowing mountain tunnel. Step by step, they came closer to the truth. The lake of truth and lies, shimmering lake with floating words, truth and lie. Only those who walk on truth can cross the lake. Noor carefully stepping only on words marked truth. Every step must be honest and kind. Zane almost steps on lie. Noor pulls him back. Sometimes, we need each other to stay true. The lake glows and shows the sorcerer's castle ahead. The path to the sorcerer was revealed. Layla appears, smiling proudly. "You are ready for the final test." The sorcerer's castle. A tall dark castle with green golden windows and storm clouds. Inside that castle, the final battle awaits. Zane and Noor standing bravely at the castle gate. No more fear, just courage and hope. Inside the castle, dark spells flying as traps of fear. The sorcerer had prepared for their arrival. The magician sorcerer casting red lightning spells. "You cannot break my curse." Zane and Noor glowing with blue light, united in friendship. But kindness is stronger than any curse. Victory and return. The stone statue of the king turning back into a human in golden light. With pure hearts, they broke the curse. The king hugged Zane and Noor, grateful and proud. "You are the true heroes of Fairy Kingdom." Fairies celebrating with sparkles and music. The kingdom rejoiced with songs of joy. Layla opened the glowing portal to send them home. It's time to return, but never forget this journey. Back in the garden, Zane shows Noor a glowing fairy feather. Was it a dream? Or was it all real? Zane and Noor peacefully sleeping in their separate rooms at night, a glowing star falling in the background sky. Magical dream realm, Layla the fairy glowing and floating, reaching out with urgency as Zane and Noor dream. "Heroes, we need you once again, the Shadow Queen has returned." Morning light, Zane and Noor running toward the enchanted garden gate with excitement and concern. Magical tree door opens again, ancient tree trunk, glowing with a magical outline. Door opening as Zane and Noor stand before it. Zane and Noor stepping into a faded, shadowed version of the fairy kingdom with dull colors. But the kingdom wasn't the same as before. Fairies peeking from behind trees, Scared expressions, wings dim, colors muted. The fairies were frightened, their glow fading. Layla the fairy floating before Zayn and Noor, face Syrian. Shadowy castle in the background. The Shadow Queen, Shabana, has returned and cast darkness over the kingdom. The Shadow Queen, Shabana, has returned and cast darkness over the kingdom. A new mission revealed. Layla creating a glowing map showing 3 lamp locations: forest, valley, and castle. To defeat her, you must find the 3 lamps of light. Zayn and Noor enter the Whispering Woods. Dense forest, trees with eyes, whispering faces and bark, Zayn and Noor cautiously walking. Their first challenge, the Whispering Woods. Close-up of twisted trees whispering lies into Zayn and Noor's ears. Trees Noor, you are alone. Zayn, you will fail. Noor confidently holding Zayn's hand in the forest, glowing ground beneath them.
Nor say we believe in truth, not whispers. Glowing golden lamp emerging from forest floor under tree roots. The first lamp revealed itself, entering the valley of time. Twilight sky, floating clouds, people walking backward. Zayn and Noor look amazed. Zayn staring at his wristwatch spinning backward, expression confused. Zayn's watch began ticking backward. Noor smiling and pointing to a carved heart on a tree with both names. We must trust the time of our friendship. Zayn and Noor together turning a large mystical clock dial in a stone pillar. They turned the ancient clock in the right direction. The second lamp glows brightly beside the clock, emitting golden light. A massive, cold, dark castle with no sound, Zayn and Noor standing silently at the entrance. Now they reach the silent fortress, Zayn and Noor walking through empty silent halls, sound waves shown as still lines. Noor holding a glowing magical flute, playing a tune, light waves swirling around. Noor played her magical flute. A glowing golden lamp rises from a circle of swirling light as Noor plays her flute. Zayn and Noor standing heroically, holding glowing lamps in both hands, magical light surrounding them. Bibi, Noor, and Layla returning to the central garden, magical creatures gathering around in hope. Together, they return to the heart of the kingdom. The 3 glowing lamps placed side by side on a tall ancient pedestal. Explosive golden white light shooting into the sky, fairies shielding their eyes. Shabana the Shadow Queen appears in a burst of black smoke, with dark robes and glowing red eyes. Shabana the Shadow Queen raising her arms, dark shadow creatures crawling out from the ground. She summoned her shadow minions. Zayn raising the first lamp above his head, a beam of light shooting toward Shabana. Noor boldly steps forward and raises the second lamp, glowing light illuminating her face. Fairy Layla, floating above, raises the third lamp, all 3 beams converging into one. Shabana the Shadow Queen screaming as golden light engulfs her body, shadows burning away. Color returns to the trees and flowers, glowing rivers, fairies celebrating in joy. The fairy kingdom shone brightly once more. Unicorns, glowing birds, and fairies dancing in a celebration under rainbow lights. Layla placing glowing flower crowns on Zayn and Noor's heads. You two are not just heroes, you are the light of hope. Zayn and Noor waving with smiles, fairies and creatures gathered to see them off. It was time to return home. The glowing tree door opens again, and Zayn and Noor step back through. They step back into the real world. Zayn and Noor looking around Grandpa's peaceful garden, now filled with light and flowers. Close-up of the magical tree trunk with a new glowing symbol, Guardians of the Fairy Kingdom. Zayn and Noor smiling at the magical tree, sunlight streaming down behind them. They were now the Guardians of the Fairy Kingdom. Zayn and Noor at the beach with Grandpa. Zayn and Noor build sandcastles near the sparkling sea with their grandpa under a bright blue sky. Noor spots a glowing shell half buried in the sand and picks it up in surprise. Blue light swirls out of the shell as Zayn and Noor watch in awe. A swirling blue doorway appears above the seashell, glowing mysteriously. Hand in hand, Zayn and Noor step through the glowing doorway glowing seashells. Nor touches the wrong shell, and stormy waves rise inside the cave. Nor finds the right shell glowing like a heartbeat and lifts it carefully. Lock 1 opens with a flash of light. The children enter a glowing coral forest with twisting paths. The coral paths twist and change, confusing Zane and Noor. Zane takes out his magical compass watch and follows its direction. The second magical lock opens as Zane places the coral key. The silent lake and the crying dolphin. Noor gently hugs the sad dolphin, offering her comfort and hope. A glowing tear from the dolphin floats into Noor's hands like a pearl. A glowing blue lock appears above the lake, waiting for the final key. Noor lifts the pearl tear to the glowing lock, and it begins to shine brightly. A burst of light surrounds Zane and Noor as all 3 locks disappear. Maria joins them for the final battle. A terrifying black fortress rises from the deep sea, guarded by dark sea creatures. Zane, Noor, and Maria enter the fortress. Cora roars, holding the pearl of time, surrounded by dark swirling energy. Cora raises his arms as time around begins to slow and freeze. Noor steps ahead, fearless, as light begins to glow from her hands. Noor declares the truth as the power of time glows between her and Cora. Zane and Noor place all 3 keys near the pearl. The pearl of time glows brightly. The pearl bursts into bright light, shaking the fortress walls. Cora screams in defeat and fades into dark water, losing his power. The underwater world begins to shine again. Light returns to Modi Nagar as coral and fish glow with color and joy. Maria gently places the pearl back into the heart of the ocean. Zane and Noor become guardians of time. Maria crowns Zane and Noor with glowing coral crowns. Zane and Noor return to the beach, holding the magical shell as Grandpa smiles. Grandpa tells them, sometimes, a child's heart holds the greatest magic. Zane and Noor sleep in their separate rooms at night, glowing clock symbols forming on their walls. Close-up of a magical glowing clock face on Noor's wall, ticking slowly. A glowing fairy form appears in the air above them. It's Layla the fairy. Layla speaking. Heroes, the tunnel of time has opened. Morning. Zane and Noor running into Grandpa's magical garden. Under the magical tree, a spinning glowing vortex opens in the ground. Inside the vortex, floating clocks, memories, and glowing moments. Layla pointing at 3 glowing doors inside the tunnel. Door 1, a glowing arch labeled Past with golden swirls. Zane and Noor as 3-year-olds playing and crying. First time meeting. Young Noor asks, can we stay here forever? Zane replies, no, we have to move forward. Zane and Noor walking away from a fading childhood scene. Door 2, a silver gate labeled Present with a glowing question mark. Frozen world, people, birds, even water suspended in air. Zane and Noor walking through frozen crowd in awe. A glowing stone tablet appears. Choose one or all. 2 glowing paths appear ahead. First path, a trapped fairy inside a crystal cave. Second path, a village in flames, people screaming. Noor says we must save everyone. Zane nods, it's the right thing to do. As they choose the village, the world unfreezes. Door 3, a black metallic arch labeled Future with neon lights. Future world, robotic city, people with blank faces. Robots working, no emotions around. Zane and Noor find a giant glowing lever. Sign reads, pull this and lose your magical memory. Noor with tears, will we forget everything? Zane replies, some sacrifices are worth it. Both hold hands and pull the lever together. Burst of light emotions flood back into the future. Scene shifts. Zane and Noor unconscious in the garden. They wake up, everything magical is forgotten. Noor's diary on the ground. A glowing line inside. Line reads, sometimes forgetting is the real sacrifice. A single star shining in the sky. Close up Zane looking at the star, puzzled. Noor quietly smiling as if she faintly remembers. Final frame, the star twinkles, a promise for the future. Stormy night in Grandpa's library. Zane, Noor, and Nana Abu are reading old books. A book called The Secret of the Heart falls to the ground. The bookshelf slides open, revealing a glowing mirror in a dark secret passage. shadow speaks in echoing, distorted voices of fear and doubt. Zayn and Noor back away in fear as the shadow looms larger. Soft glowing fairy with wings hovering, speaking encouraging words to Zayn and Noor. Noor closes eyes, takes a deep breath. Noor standing tall, confident despite fear, speaking to the shadow. Zayn boldly speaks, standing firm in front of the shadow. Shadow twisting and screaming in frustration as light starts to glow around Zayn and Noor. The smoky shadow starts to break apart into tiny particles of darkness. Mirror shining brightly with golden light, reflecting strong images of Zayn and Noor. Zayn and Noor hold hands, glowing with newfound strength. Mirror transforms into a magical door. The mirror morphs into a glowing portal with runes and magic. Magical writing glowing on the door. Only the brave who face truth may enter. Zayn and Noor stand before the door, determined expressions, ready to step in. Door opens slowly with bright light spilling out, illuminating the library. Entering the island of dreams. Zayn and Noor step through the portal into a surreal dreamlike island with floating islands and colorful skies. The dream island, waterfalls flowing upwards, glowing flowers, and whimsical trees. Meeting the dream guide, a mystical creature, half butterfly, half lion, appears to guide them. Dream guide speaking to Zayn and Noor, explaining that every dream hides a secret truth. Zayn and Noor walk into a glowing door within the island, leading to their first dream. Zayn and Noor soar above the clouds with wings, smiling and free. Clouds darken suddenly, threatening storm and fear. Zayn and Noor stand firm, holding hands, ready to face the shadowy nightmare. Light radiates from them, pushing back the darkness. Dream clears and brightens. The dream landscape becomes colorful and vibrant again. The dream guide claps, pleased with their bravery. A glowing pearl appears on a pedestal, shining with magical light. Zayn reaches out to touch the pearl with reverence. Pearl glows intensely, sending beams of light around. A portal opens in the dream island to return them back. Zayn and Noor walk back through the portal, looking stronger and wiser. Zayn and Noor standing in the library, looking at the closed magical door with hope and determination. The final battle and the power of love.